Divisibility test. Quick tricks or divisibility tests that we can use to determine if a number can be divided by a smaller number. So we have a few divisibility tests. We have 2. It can be divided by 2 when the last digit is even. So when it ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. 3. It can be divided by 3 when the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. 5. It can be divided by 5 when the last digit is a 0 or 5. And then for numbers 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, we're going to use long division. So let's look at example 1. 12 is divisible by which prime numbers? So we have 2. So we're going to ask, is 12 divisible by 2? Which we would say yes, as ends in an even digit, because it ends in a 2. 3. Now we ask, if we add up the sum of the digits, so 1 plus 2, which is equal to 3, can it be divided by 3? Which, yes, 3 can be divided by 3. So we would say yes. So both of these have thus far checked out. Now we look at 5. Can it be divided by 5? Well, it does not end with a 0 or 5, so no. So that would be the answer to that. And then it can't be divided by 7. We know it can't be divided by 11. So we would say by which prime numbers? It's 2 and 3. Now let's look at example 2. Example 2. 2,730 is divisible by which prime numbers? Well, how we go about a large number like this is we would take this 200. We take this 2,730, and let's go ahead and divide it first by 2. Because we would say it can be divided by 2 because it ends in an even digit, which is a 0. So 2 can go into 2,730 how many times? So we would go 2 can go into 2 one time. We subtract, we get 0. So we bring down the 7. Now 2 can go into 7 3 times. 2 times 3 is 6. We go ahead and subtract, we get 1. Bring down the 3. Now 2 can go to 13 6 times. So we get 2 times 6 is 12. We subtract, we get 1. Next we bring down a 0. 2 can go to 10 5 times. 2 times 5 is 10. We subtract, we get 0. So we're now left with 1,365. So we know that it can be divided by 2. Now when we look at this number, we can see that it ends in a 5. So it can be divided by 5. So let's go ahead and divide it. So 5 can go into 13 2 times. 5 times 2 is 10. We subtract, we get 3. We're going to bring down the 6. 5 can go to 36 7 times. 5 times 7 is 35. We subtract, we get 1. Bring down the 5. Now 5 can go to 15 3 times. 5 times 3 is 15. We subtract, we get 0. So now we have 273. Next, we look at 273. Now, let's see. 2 plus 7 is 9, plus 3 is 12. So this means that it can be divided by 3 as 12. The sum of the digits can be divided by 3. So let's put 3 out in front. So 3 can go into 27. 9 times 3 times 9 is 27. We subtract, we get 0. Next we bring down the 3, and 3 can go into 3 one time. 3 times 1 is 3. We subtract. Now we get 0. So we're left with 91. Now 91 can be broken down further. So we've already done 2, 3, 5. Let's look at 7 now. 7 can go into 9 one time. 7 times 1 is 7. We subtract then. 9 minus 7 is 2. Bring down the 1. 7 can go into 21 3 times. 7 times 3 is 21. We subtract, we get 0. So the prime numbers for this is 2, 5, 3, 7, and 13. Now let's look at one final example. Example 3. 363 is divisible by which prime numbers? So we look at this number and we start with the digit. We start with the divisibility test of 2. Well, it does not end with an even digit, so we would say no, as not an even number. Now 3, so 3 plus 6 plus 3 is equal to 12, which can be divided by 3. So it can be divided by 3. So let's look at this. 3 can go into 363 how many times? So 3 can go into 3 one time. 3 times 1 is 3. We subtract, we get 0. Bring down the 6. 3 can go to 6 two times. 3 times 2 is 6. Subtract, we get 0. Bring down the 3. 3 can go to 3 one time. So now we're left with 121. So we see that it does not end with a 0 or 5. So it does not work for 5. So it's not divisible by 5. Next is 7. So we're going to have to go 121 divided by 7. 7 go to 12 one time. 7 times 1 is 7. Subtract, we get 5. Bring down the 1 then. 7 go to 51 7 times, which is 49. Then we're left with 2. So this is also no. The next prime number is 11. So now we look at 121 because we took it and divided by 363 by 3, and now we're going to look at this number. So let's see. 11 can go into 121 how many times? So 11 goes into 12 one time. Now we get 11. We subtract, we get 1. Then we're going to have to bring down the other 1. So 11 go into 11 one times. So we would say yes. So 363 is divisible by which prime numbers? We would say 3 and 11.